Hey. So we will kind of get started here. Welcome, everybody. Turn that music off there. How's everybody doing? I see everybody's smiling face on here so far. It's good to see these faces. Oh, I'm a little tired myself. Kind of dragging today. I need more coffee. This isn't enough. Like, this is my second one. I don't think I still even woke up yet.
Maybe the problem is too much coffee. You need to get off coffee.
You think that's what it is? Maybe it's too much.
Yes.
Does it actually work?
You're too dependent on it.
Can I say I did that for 2 years, and there's just nothing like a cup of Joe.
Oh,
I did the no coffee for 2 years, man. I never had that switch turn on ever again. It was just 2 years of no. It was no fun.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I kind of like need coffee. I don't think I could function without it. And maybe it's a dependency, but I don't know if this reverse psychology thing of quitting would actually help me. So either way, we're going to move over with coffee. Okay, what happened to everybody's faces? Bo, you turned your camera off. Greg, turn his mic. Nico, I want to see your guys' faces. Y'all got shy all of a sudden. Turn the cameras off when everything starts. Let's get started here. Somebody tell me something good. There we go, Greg. There we go. Tell me something good, something happy, something exciting in your life this last week since we talked since last Tuesday. Even if it's seeing a beautiful flower. I know, Cindy, you got something to say. You told a group earlier, but go ahead, let it rip. What's so good? Tell us something good, Cindy. Just turn the camera off. She's like, I'm not talking.
You're talking about me?
Yeah, something good.
Something good.
Something
Some
good.
other good than what I just said, or good again?
Yeah, come on. Some of the people weren't here to hear that.
Well, let's see. I'm working with a couple good buyers. My goal is obviously I've got to be icon by July 1st.
Okay.
And I'm going to Spain. So that means I got to do a deal a week. So I've added it out. So I got to do one sale a week to get there. I'm on number 6. So I got, how many to go? Anyway, working hard.
Okay.
All good.
All right. And you closed an $8 million deal, double in.
Yep.
That was awesome.
I haven't gotten a check that big since 2006. So it's been a long haul made up. I mean, it was the sweetest, easiest. Everybody loves each other. Everybody was yes, yes, yes. There was never no. It was good. Yeah.
If we can package that up and sprinkle it like magic dust over everybody, it feels to be that way, it'd be amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, congratulations. Good job, Cindy.
Thank you.
What's up, Leah? Good to see you. Sasha. Hello, hello. Tell me something else good. Something else. Shout out something.
We got a babysitter tonight on Valentine's Day, so wifey and I are going out. Let's go.
All right.
That's probably the best news, man. When you get the babysitter, dude, it's the real deal. So that's
you win, Ross. You win. That's the best news. You win.
I mean, hands down. I'm gonna tell you right now, for you parents out there that have little kids, if you can get a babysitter or a nanny for the night and you get the night off, you scored big time right there. What are your plans, Ross? Y'all got some plans set up?
Yeah, so I did the typical little flowers and things here, but she just wants to do a dinner and maybe we like to go. She likes to there's this go-kart axe throwing place that's actually a ton of fun for like a date night, putt golf and stuff. So she wanted more like a fun date. So we're gonna do something like that.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Good for you. Good for you,
man. Thanks, brother.
Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody across the board. Hope you guys are all running to the store and getting your flowers for your significant other, because I saw a lot of dudes doing that this morning, running to the store and getting Valentine's flowers and balloons at like 7:30 in the morning. So anyways, awesome. Good job, Ross. Anybody else? Something good. Something exciting. Nothing. How can we have nothing exciting going on in this world? All right. For me, sun's up. I'm alive. I'm excited for a lot of things that's going on for me in the business this year. I got a lot happening. Although I'm getting zero sleep right now, I'm building some amazing shit out, and I'm excited for what that's going to happen. So that is some good news, and you guys are going to enjoy this stuff coming up. Just telling you what we're coming up on board here for the next year. So, but yeah, that's good for me. Even though it's a lack of sleep, I drink more coffee, but I'm getting some shit done, and I'm excited about that. So that's good for me. Anybody else? What's up, Kirsten? How you doing? Aloha.
Aloha, guys. Sorry, having trouble getting in today for some reason.
No worries. You know, I was thinking also too, I actually had some feedback. How's everybody first off liking the book? Anybody didn't get the book yet? The Atomic Habits? Boom. All right. Great book, James Clear. If you haven't got it yet, this is a great read. This is my second time going through it right now. A lot of tidbits I'm really like understanding right now. One thing I want to share real quick. He gave an example of you're sitting at a table and there's an ice cube sitting in front of you on the table, right? And you're in a room of 25 degrees. The ice cube's sitting there on the table. The temperature starts to drop one at a time, 26 degrees, 27 degrees, 28 degrees, 29 degrees. The ice still does not melt. 32 degrees, from 31 to 32, instantly the ice starts melting. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. It's like nothing happens until 32 degrees. But how many of us in life, we start something, we can't wait till the 32 degrees. If you only knew that if you stuck around and kept doing it till it hit 32 degrees, you'd do it. But then that's cheating. So the reality is this is where you got to dig in. This is a great read right here. Everybody get it. The link's on the stream for classroom. Get the book. It's a great read. Dylan, get your hand raised up.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a takeaway from Maui, which I'm not gonna share, but I'm just gonna share with everybody that, you know, when you get caught up, because this happens to me too, and you get caught up in being envious of what other people have, or you see what other people are doing and the success that they're having, and you think, man, I wish I could be like that, or I wish I was having more success like that. Sometimes you don't really understand what's going on. And I had two big takeaways from Maui that I took away, and I saw people that I looked up to that I was, you know, I could say I was envious of. And after learning more specifically about their business, I was like, you know what, I'm super grateful for what I have, and I'm not, you know, I shouldn't do that, right? We should never do that. And so if you need a kick in the ass and you need somebody to give you some perspective, I'm not going to share publicly what the examples are, but they're important examples to understand when you look at the folks that are doing big things. You think I could never be like that, or I want to be like that, and I'm not satisfied because I'm not there. You don't know what's going on, and you don't know what they had to do to get there. And so sometimes some perspective helps. But just wanted to share that if you get caught up in that loop, give me a call and we can talk about it.
I love it, brother. Thanks for sharing that. It's actually 100% accurate. Nobody ever knows what somebody else is going through at any given time. A lot of people will pretend to have a facade and they'll keep pushing forward because that's what we do, right? Through hard times, we just keep driving. We just keep driving. We don't let the things get us in the way. But people look at us like, oh my God, you're amazing. Yeah, I walked through hell to get through here, and you didn't see all the shit I went through, but I got here, right? So thanks for sharing it, Dylan. And yeah, I think Bo just said you're our 32 degrees. Dylan, you're officially our 32 degrees guy. you're the temperature starts melting us, Dylan. That's you. We love you.
I'm 75 year round, so don't forget that.
You really are, actually. I love it. Cindy, you had your hand raised again? No? Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to move forward then, everybody. Wait, Rico, you raised your hand. Go for it, my dear. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, good morning. I just let you know I have a friend, actually my adopted son, John Ricky Karamaz. He just joined. He's a new real estate agent. Also, he's a lawyer. So if you need some help for legal advice, he's welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. We all need some of that sometimes. You never know, but I appreciate that shout out. If you want to put his information in the chat box down below, feel free to put that in the chat. You can type his number or something for those that want to have access to it. They can use it to give a call. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our mortgage minute. Last week we had an amazing video of this guy, but we have him in flesh in real time this time. Carl Lewis, the guy who brings us the updates. How are we looking at our rates, Carl?
Yeah, well, thanks again for having me. Yeah, sorry I missed last week. Missed Glenn Sanford. Man, that was a big week to miss, but it's all right. Yeah. You definitely always bring the best speakers, so that's pretty cool, Chris. Kudos to you for that. And then on the Atomic Habits thing, I just want to throw out a little hack. I like little hacks. I actually listened to it on Audible, and I turned it up to 1.5, and I listened to it in like a couple of days. And it's like one of my habit stacking, which is in Atomic Habits. is anytime I get in the car, I listen to a book. So that's like
Nice.
my habit. So anyway, just want to throw that out there for you guys. But yeah, amazing book. I'm actually going to read it again or listen to it again. But yeah, as far as the market goes, rates are up. Rates are up about 0.5% in the last week, which is kind of surprising. I think a lot of it's just because, you know, we're kind of, you know, experiencing the aftermath of that jobs report that I talked about last week, which was so much better than expected. So the market's, you know, starting to react to that, and that's starting to kind of simmer now. But we had the consumer price index that came out today, and you know, inflation is really the biggest market mover right now because of the state of the economy, and are we going to a recession or not? I think maybe we are. And so that consumer price index is an inflationary indicator. That's the whole point of it. And it came in a little bit better today, but it wasn't better than expected. And it's always about, it's not necessarily that, hey, inflation's getting better. It's, we want to actually see it get better than expected. So we saw a little bit of a worsening today, even with rates. So, you know, this rate decline over the next, let's call it year, you know, 6 months, 8 months, a year, is going to be a bumpy road. We're going to have ups and downs. And that's what markets do. That's what real estate does. That's what interest rates do. That's what the stock market does. So we're going to see some of those, you know, kind of ups and downs. So right now, on a regular conventional loan, you're looking at around 6.5. So, you know, we haven't tipped over the 7% mark yet. So again, that's good. So we haven't reached the highs that we saw in the fall. And then for FHA, we're kind of around 5.7. VA is around 5.7. And take notice that the FHA and VA rates are lower than conventional. Now we're kind of by nature, we are a lender, but we're a broker. And so our margins are, you know, basically the similar. Some lenders, the rate for government loans like FHA and VA are actually going to be higher because they manage their business a little different. So, you know, FHA and VA are really, really great options to be able to get the buyer a little bit lower rate. And so what we're seeing, there's also some changes, loan level pricing adjustments that got levied. They're brand new from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that make loans a little bit more expensive. So something for you guys to really be mindful of when you're writing offers, whether it's on the initial offer or it's when you start doing inspections, is to try to build in some credits for these buyers, because the way the rate sheets are right now, it's pretty brutal. Like they're having to pay a lot of money in origination to be able to get a loan. Most people are going to pay 1 point or maybe pay 2 points to be able to get a decent interest rate. And so that's something, you know, to be mindful of there, and maybe like preparing them for that. One other thing too, for those that maybe have enough tax deductions, when you pay points on a loan or you pay origination fees on a loan, you could actually take that as a deduction on your tax return if you itemize all at once. Whereas if it's for like a refinance, you have to amortize it over the life of the loan. So that could be a pretty significant deduction for these people who are paying points. So something, talk to a tax professional. I'm not a CPA, so, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt, but just something to, you know, be talking with your buyers about, like, hey, there's going to be a little more fees on these loans because of these loan level pricing adjustments. Now there is a caveat to that. If you've got someone who doesn't have, you know, they're not like a really high income earner, there's a couple programs. There's Home Ready, there's Home Possible, there's Home One. Home One actually doesn't have the income limits, but Home Ready and Home Possible, if they make, you know, 80% of the median income for your area, then they actually don't have to pay a lot of those loan level pricing adjustments. They could save a lot of money. They might save like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in fees on their loan. And this is something that a lot of loan officers miss. They don't even look it up. They have no idea. So if you see someone who's making 80 or 90,000, maybe 70, 80, 90,000 a year, depending on the area, that could be an area where they could really save a lot of money. And, you know, when you're paying a point or two on the loan, that makes a pretty big difference. So, and then just last thing I was going to say, you could do 3% down for conventional if you're a first-time home buyer, which is pretty sweet, you know. So just so you guys know, you know, you don't have to go FHA to do that really low down payment. So yeah, so that's all I got for today. Anybody have any questions or anything for me?
Bueller? We got any questions for Carl? No? I think you're pretty thorough, Carl. That's why you like lay it all out from A to Z. Like you answer everything in your entire speech.
Am I that boring? I mean, I went, you know what? Here, can I throw out one more thing?
Yeah.
So I was talking to an agent and we're talking about our sales pitch, and I get like real technical, closing fast and this, that. And I finally realized, you know what? like my sales pitch is going to be, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a mountain biker, I snowboard, and I do loans to help people get, purchase property. So, I mean, when she kind of said that to me about her, I
Yeah.
thought, wow, that was really profound. Like how you connect with people when you're just kind of like, this is who I am. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was something I learned yesterday. Thought that was kind of cool.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again, you guys. Appreciate it.
Always bringing some amazing content value. Thanks for that. And we're going to all keep our fingers crossed and hope that we see some decline in rates. But nonetheless, that should not stop anybody from selling real estate. It's not about the rate. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, that's kind of like EXP, right? As Glenn said last week, we're a personal development company who happens to sell real estate. That's who we are. Gotta love that tagline, man. We're on here on the planet to create better human beings. So I love that. Awesome. All right. So moving forward, we have our guest speaker here, which is a gentleman that I've actually met through EXP. I didn't get to meet him until EXP, but he's quite an iconic individual out in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm gonna share my screen here. Can I see who it is? He's the Cliff Freeman Group. He actually has been in the industry for over 36 years. He is in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Created his group, I think in 2019, created the Cliff Freeman Group. 2017, he joined EXP Realty. He has I think about 80 plus agents on his personal team. They do over $500 million in volume every year annually. He's a rock star, trainer, a coach. He's been in the business forever. He's vast full of knowledge. But one of the kickers at EXP is he's now the number 5 earner, I believe. I think he's going to maybe incorrect me. I think he's the number 5 earner in the revenue share here for EXP. I think he has almost 13,000 agents in his organization through EXP. So I had the privilege of actually getting Cliff. I met him at a couple events in the past, and I think, hey, Cliff, would you be willing to come and speak a little bit to the team? And he's like, absolutely. Another great sign of how our culture is here at EXP, which is amazing. We're super excited to have you, Cliff. Well, thanks for you taking time out of the day to come speak with us. So, but without further ado, feel free, my friend, to take over the screen, sir.
Well, hey guys, I'm excited to be here, and Chris, thanks for the invite, man. I feel like I'm out on the island right now, ready for a Mai Tai and the little sunscreen. But we're punching through winter here in Dallas, but I think we're looking forward to someday being able to get out in your neck of the woods and come visit. So like I said, I'm super stoked to be here. Chris, you've got one of the the best groups in our organization, and I've always admired your work ethic and the things that you do since we met. And of course, your reputation preceded me meeting you, so it was I had some pretty high expectations, and you obviously crushed those. But
thank you.
Yeah. But I'd like to be a resource, and I do have a team. You were very generous. Our goal was to hit 500 million this year, and then we had sort of a setback with rates and things slowing here. But I'm actually up to like 98 agents on the local Dallas Fort Worth team here, and we're still growing. And you were also a little bit generous on the agent count and rev share. I'm actually at 12,060 right now. So.
Tomatoes, tomatoes, potatoes, potatoes, right? Only 12,000. Sorry, not 13, but remarkable.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, it's a lot of people ask me how I got here, and all I can say is that I think that the Lord has been preparing me to be in the seat that I'm in for the last probably 15 years of my life. I was doing a lot of coaching for if you guys ever heard of Kinder Reese back in the day, NAEA, Jay Kinder and Michael Reese. So I was one of the founding coaches with those guys. Then I went on to work with Lars Hedenborg at Real Estate B School for about a year until I walked into his intensive at the Coronado Marriott wearing an EXP hat. And it was the first time I've ever heard Lars Hedenborg drop an F-bomb, but he did, and he said, "Get that F-bomb hat off." He said, "EXP is the devil. It's you're a devil worshiper if you're over there." He said that it's a pyramid scheme. It's an MLM. It'll never be successful. Keller Williams will always be the biggest and the best brokerage in the United States. And so, I immediately kind of put my hat in my hand and my tail between my legs, and I was very humbled, and I told him I appreciated his opinion. 2 weeks later, we parted ways, and I joined I'd actually joined EXP at that time. So we, we continued to talk to each other. And sure enough, I think it was 4 years later, I get this notification that Lars has joined our group. He's actually in my third line. Let's see, AJ, John, and then Lars. Yeah. So you know what? It's funny how things turn, and you just never know. But it's the relationships that you build along the way through life that really, in my case, is determine the outcome here with my ability to generate, this kind of revenue share and build this sort of an organization. And I think that sometimes there's not a lot of opportunities that, you get in life, but when you see them, you have to be able to decide, whether or not you're going to go. The biggest regret that I have about coming to EXP is that I didn't get here sooner. And I think if I were to take a poll right now in the viewers, I bet I would get the majority of you saying, yeah, I wish I had come sooner. But there's a lot of people out there right now that are looking at EXP, that have continued to look at EXP for a long time, and their gate has just not been open. They just haven't quite gotten that comfort level that they need to come over. And it's a hard decision, guys. I mean, think about it. I mean, every time, I can tell you personally, every time my life has taken a quantum leap, it was preceded by some type of a big decision that I had to make. Tony Robbins says that it's in these moments where you're making these decisions that you define your destiny, you create your destiny. And so for a lot of people, at any given time, if you talk to 100 agents, only 5 of them are probably in a position where they could make a move in the next 30 days. The rest of them, it's going to take longer. And so I want to encourage you, just like you nurture your buyers and your seller leads, if you have people, and I always say, start out with the people you love. Go find those people first and get them over here, right? I mean, you want to help those people who are swimming towards us and who will have a kind ear, and then they'll listen. They'll actually do the due diligence. So go after those people first. But again, if 5 out of 100 are ready to move now, that means I've got 95 that I'm going to have to spend a little more time on. So it's important. Don't ever give up on somebody. Just like Lars Hedenborg, after 4 years, I had pretty much given up on him. And sure enough, he comes over and he absolutely loves being over here. I mean, he's never looked back. So, just have patience with folks and understand that it's not 100% of the time that they're going to be ready to make that move when you first talk to them about EXP. Chris, how can I best serve the crowd here? Do you want to take some questions? I mean, I could sit here and, kind of pontificate a little bit on, what my journey's been like, but I'd really like to know if I could serve your group here, by answering maybe some specific questions. Or I see Leah just put her hand up. Is that
Go for it. Yeah.
cool? Yeah.
Go for it.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thank you for stepping up here.
Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate all your knowledge. So my question, my husband and I are a domestic, he's here too, domestic partnership. We've been in the business. We've been with EXP a little over 2.5 years. I've been in the business 23 years and him a little less than 10. How we need to produce to pay our bills.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for, I don't like the word recruitment, but to bring people on.
Yeah.
Do you have a suggestion how to get around that?
What I can do is I can share my story a little bit. When I came over here, first of all, it was a very hard decision to make. I was an independent broker. I had a lot of, good income coming in from coaching. As an independent broker, I was kind of more brand agnostic, and I was doing okay. I had good cash flow. Unfortunately, other things that happened in my life and I didn't have a lot of money saved up. And, it just, I think in real estate, no matter how hard we try, wouldn't you agree that it's really hard to build a big savings? I mean, they say, just go buy a rental property every year and, then you'll be good after 100 years or whatever it is. But, for me, that wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening fast enough. So I had 4 kids in college all at the same time, and was really the primary breadwinner. So I had to sell real estate. I mean, I had to continue to do the grind, and I didn't have a lot of time either in the beginning. So Brent Gove is my sponsor, and Brent and I talked about it. And he said, look, do what I do. He said, just start out with Freaky Fridays. And just, as some of you may know, Brent used to play golf every Friday. Regardless of what was going on, he would be on the golf course on Friday morning. But when he got back to the office, he said, I would make calls, and I would call people that I knew who would take my call, people who were influencers in real estate. I made a big stretch, and I wrote down people who I thought I could get in front of and maybe just get them to watch the video. That was the whole goal, was at that time, was just to get them to watch the video, because EXP was such a new concept that nobody knew who it was, what it was. I remember the first phone call that I made to an agent. I asked, before we got into the conversation, I said, have you heard of EXP? And the phone went silent. One of those things where you start counting in 1,000, 2, 1,000. It's that dreaded dead air. And finally, he came back on the phone and he said, I was in Walmart last weekend, now that I think about it, and back by the milk, there's the laundry detergent, and I think I saw a bottle of EXP up above the Tide. Is that what you're talking about? And at that point, I thought, God, I've been over here 2.5 months. I made a huge mistake, right? Nobody knew about EXP. So that's what it was like back then. Obviously, today it's a different story. Wouldn't you agree? I think everybody's either talked to somebody from EXP or whatever. But I started out, and this is what's really important. Brent has an amazing website with all kinds of training for agent attraction on it. I'm sure you guys, Chris has recommended it. It's brentgove.com. Go to agent attraction. And Rob Flick came out with this thing. I just cleaned my office. I don't have it at my fingertips, but it's called a wealth chart, right? And it actually kind of helped you plan and guide. Do you have it back there? Beautiful. I love it. There it is on the wall. Isn't that great? I hope everybody on this call has one on the wall, and send it to your sponsor for accountability. Every month, send it to your sponsor. Just take a picture of it. And so the cool thing is first of all, I didn't feel the pressure to recruit like I had put on myself. And so as my blood pressure came down, he said, make a list of the top 50 people that write them down, and then let me help you. I'll get on calls with you and help you talk about EXP and close them. Okay. That was it. And so that's what I did. And obviously, as a coach, I knew some pretty good agents that I could call, and they would answer the phone, and I would at least have a chance to talk to them. And I'm not a recruiter. I got asked to be a TL for a big Keller Williams Market Center here in Dallas. And once I sat in for a couple of weeks on, what the job was like, and sat in on a regional call, I was like, nah, I don't think this is for me. I'm here to help agents, not to just get the numbers up. I want the agents to make money, not just the OP. So anyway, what happened was I started to call these people. I would simply ask them if they would mind offering their opinion of the model, again, because at that point I was new, and I wanted to say, hey, look, Chris, I want you to take a look at this video and give me your opinion. I really value, you're an awesome agent. I think that you could really help shed some light on this for me. And if you need to, maybe you could talk me off the cliff, right? So I don't jump and make a huge, commit career suicide or something like that, like these other brokers tell you that, you're going to commit career suicide if you go to EXP. Oh my God, those people drive me crazy. But anyway, so that was good enough then, right, to be able to generate the conversation. And guys, I'll tell you, wouldn't you agree that agents tend to spend more time planning their next vacation than they do doing the due diligence of the broker that they're considering joining.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it ridiculous? They just get sucked in by some salesman that's called a team leader or a recruiter at wherever it is, and then they're done. They're toast. So, what we've got to do is, and this is the way I describe it to people. I said, for me, it's been about monetizing relationships. Go out and build relationships with other people in the business, and go to, if you go to events, I've gone to big events. For the last 20 years, I've been going to really big events and networking with other great agents. So I literally intentionally positioned myself so that I would have a Rolodex of people that I could contact and work. And, the funny thing is, my first year, I only did it doing calls 2 hours a week on Fridays. And my first year at EXP, I brought in 12 people. I came over here as an independent agent and 12 frontline people, and that was it. And, for the first year, I was really impressed. I made 41 grand in rev share my first year. That was impressive. I mean, I impressed myself. But what happened though, is because I was intentionally strategic about who I was trying to attract, I actually had some builders underneath me, not just people selling real estate. Realized that only 12% of agents at EXP get a revenue share check. That's 12 out of 100. That means that 88 don't. So for me, I'm like, I want to find out who is a candidate to be in that, 12% group. I know a lot of agents who sell a lot of real estate, and that's great. But at the end of the day, to get the full leverage out of the system, remember, you've got 7 levels. I don't make much revenue share off my first 2 or 3 levels. I really don't, not speaking relatively. Half of my income is in level 6 and 7. Those are being built by somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So the leverage comes when you get a builder or 2 or 3 who's going to change your life. And let me give you an example. How many of y'all know how Brent Gove got to EXP? Does anybody besides Chris? Dylan does. Okay. Can I tell the story? Is it all right? You guys want to hear this? So there was a young lady named Sheila Fejeron who came to a Haas Pratt coaching event at the Renaissance Hotel in Addison, Texas, just down the road from me. And lo and behold, but speaking at that event was a gentleman who had developed a really cool open house program. And he called it, we used to call it the Brent Gove Open House, or the open house on steroids. And this guy was famous during 2008 and 9 for having open houses that would literally have hundreds of people show up. He would put out so many signs, it would be like chasing the ambulance on the way to the scene of the wreck. You saw so many signs, you had to follow the signs to get to the open house and just see what the heck all the excitement was. So he was a well-known speaker and got to these events quite often. He spoke with us at Kinder Reese, and he was just one of those guys. And so he spoke at this event. Well, guess what happens a year and a half later? Rob Flick runs into this young lady, Sheila Fejeron, and convinces her that she needs to join EXP, which she does. And Rob proceeds to tell and share with her what I've just shared with you. Make a list of the top 50 biggest whales that you can think of, and let's get to work here and start calling them, see if you can get through to them, get them to watch the video. So sure enough, she says, well, I'm going to call Brent Gove. I went up to Brent after he spoke, and I shook his hand and told him how much I appreciated, his speech. It was going to be a business changer for me. Certainly he'll remember me, right? Yeah, good luck. Okay. Brent talks to 1,000 people a week. So she gets his number and calls him, and he actually answers. Brent answers his cell phone, and she goes, Brent, it's Sheila Fejeron. You may recall that when you were speaking at the Haas Pratt event in Dallas in 2015, that I was there and I was in the front row, and I came up and I shook your hand and thanked you for the great knowledge you shared with us. Do you remember me? And of course, Brent, to hear him tell the story, he goes, I couldn't remember this gal from anybody else, but I played along with her and I said, sure, yeah. Yeah, I remember you, Sheila, right? You were the redhead, I mean the blonde or whatever it was. And she goes, yeah, that was me. And then she just goes right into it. She goes, Brent, I want to ask you a favor. You know, and anytime you're humble and come and you know, asking somebody for help, if they're a decent person, they're going to help you. So Brent says, sure, what would you like? And Sheila says, Brent, I'm exploring this new company. It's called EXP. I would love to get your opinion of the model. It's disruptive, it's this, it's that, but the main thing is that I would like your thoughts on this. And by golly, if I've made a mistake, I want you to save me from making a bad call. Would you do that? And he said, Brent's in a hurry. He's got to get off the phone. So he goes, sure. Yeah. Send me the video. Right. Yeah. I'll be happy to watch it and give you the feedback. So she thanks him, hangs up, and sends him the video. And, you know, they decided they were going to watch it. I think it was later that afternoon or whatever. And sure enough, the time comes and Brent misses the deal. And then Sheila texts him frantically and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot about it. And this happened twice, right? He ghosted her. The third time he's on there on the webinar, and about 5 minutes in, Brent goes, okay, stop this. And Sheila's like, oh crap. I just blew the biggest chance to get somebody like Brent Gove at EXP. And Brent pipes back up and says, this is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. I got to know more about this. Who's the CEO? I want to meet him right now. And Brent gets on a plane, goes down to San Antonio to the shareholders meeting. There was about, I think, 80 people there, Chris, if I remember. Gene Frederick was there. Rob Flick was there. And Brent shows up and he's done. He's been on the grill for 2 hours. He is well done, right? And sure enough, he comes in hook, line, and sinker, comes back through Dallas to fly back to Sacramento, and he stops at the Shops of Legacy Marriott, where we're having our Exponential Growth Summit. Josh Altman was there signing books and everything. And he finds me and he goes, Cliff, oh my God. And Brent had known me. We were friends. And he says, you've got to look into this little company called EXP. Man, it's unbelievable. It's going to change real estate. It's going to change the real estate world. And you know what? This is a great opportunity. They have a rev share program. I don't have time to tell you about it, but go find the girl with the long blonde hair who's getting her book signed by Josh Altman. So I walk over and it's Sheila Fejeron. And she says, well, I want you to see a video. I want you to see a webinar. So I said, okay, all right, I'll do this. And sure enough, I saw it. And I mean, some people, right, when they see the video or whatever, it's like, boom, you know, it's like the Holy Spirit of real estate just came over them, right? They go, I get it. I want to be a part of this. That was me. I saw the video and I was like, if there's nothing else I ever do in my life, I don't ever want to say that I missed an opportunity that's this big. And so for 2 weeks, I poured through every single SEC filing the company had done. They were publicly traded. I got on the phone with Jason and Glenn and everybody and really vetted the thing. I mean, I was trying to poke all kinds of holes in it. And 2 weeks later, I'm signed up with EXP. And again, you got to remember, I started over here just like everybody else does, all zeros. When you pull up my rev share, it was all zeros. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world, you know, I've been playing with this back then we had a revenue share calculator. And I mean, boy, have you guys ever heard of the term EXP insomnia? That's where it originated. EXP insomnia originated with the rev share calculator. I was literally up for 3 days, couldn't sleep, playing with the numbers, looking at how much money I could make, you know, if I could just bring a person, you know, a month over to EXP, and if they could bring, 5 people in a year, and that kind of thing, and I mean, it was really astonishing. I'd never seen anything like this. So that's how my journey began. The reason why I tell the story about Brent Gove is that you never know how, when, or why somebody like a Brent Gove is going to show up in your organization. Think about how it changed Sheila Fejeron's life because of that one phone call that she made to Brent. Brent's got almost 20,000, probably has 20 now.
Yeah, I think so.
In his group. And guess who the biggest beneficiary of that 20,000 is? It's Sheila. Okay. So my challenge to you is for you never not to make that call. Don't ever talk yourself out of making the call, because it could be the call that would change not just your life, but for some of us, it changed the whole direction of our family, the legacy, everything. You've heard of generational curses. Let me tell you something. Money gives you options. If you go find a Brent Gove to put into your group, your life will never be the same. Okay. Now people go, well, all the Brent Goves are taken. That is not true. Okay. We only have 86,000 of the 1.4 million real estate agents who are here. Now, we've got a lot of great people over here, but do we have all of them? Of course not. So if you look at me, when I started with EXP, we had 2,500 agents. How hard do you think it was to convince a really, stud to come over? I mean, that was like it's like David and Goliath, right? I mean, there's no way to explain it when you have 2,500 agents and you're telling them how big this can be. So again, that's why I want to encourage you guys, don't ever give up. Don't ever quit. We tend to stop when we're 10 yards short of the goal line, right? You've got to finish. If it's a marathon, don't quit after 26 miles. Finish the last few hundred yards, okay? But keep pushing through. Don't get discouraged. Look, it's not the message. Sorry, let me back up. It's not the messenger. It's the message. So if somebody gets mad at you, says you're recruiting them, they don't even know you. Just go on, right? I'm going to teach you another 4-letter word that you need to know. I'm not a big 4-letter word guy, but write this down. All right. You ready? It's NEXT. Next. If somebody blows up on you, you're the 10th EXP. Great. Maybe you should start listening. Click. I mean, don't be ugly, but don't let it ruin your life or your day, guys. It's just like, how many of y'all call expireds on a daily basis? Anybody?
Well,
Anybody here built a business on expireds or for sale by owners? It's just a numbers game. People are going to be unhappy that you called, but they're not going to be unhappy when you get their home sold for more than they could ever sell it for, right? So maybe they've just had a bad day when you call them. Make their day great, but don't hang around. If people are being negative Nellies about EXP and, they're not being nice, then just move on, right? Maybe something bad has happened in their lives, You don't know, but what you can do is surround yourself with the people who are swimming towards us, right? We want to attract people. Rob Flick always says, we're looking for people who are looking for us, right? You'll know them when you talk to them. And the ones who aren't, it's okay. There's always going to be room for other brokerages in the world. But when you can find that special person that can come over here and help you build an empire, man, you don't have to recruit. I didn't recruit all 12,000 people in my group, right? That's the efforts of a lot of people. You want to talk about leverage? This is the ultimate form of leverage in the real estate industry. That's what's so beautiful about revenue share. So guys, you're here, you're selling real estate. You might as well, what's it going to do a couple of hours a week, right? By the way, I didn't finish my story. The first year I did 41,000. in rev share. The second year I did $500,000. The third year I did $1 million. The fourth year I did $2.5 million.
Jeez.
Last year, or let me guess, it was 2021, I did $5.5 million. Okay. I don't know what, I haven't got my 1090. I haven't even looked at it. I'm scared because the taxes, I hate paying taxes. I mean, I'm glad to, but at the same time, it's a lot of money. Let me hang up. I just got a phone call. Isn't that crazy? I apologize. Got a phone call on my Zoom line. But anyway, that's my story. Listen, if I can do this, there's no reason why you guys can't do this either. Atomic Habits is a great book. You guys need to get in the habit of talking to people and literally you have to have the right mindset, no question about it. And if you're not doing something to help with your mindset, the first thing I would ask you is how much are you spending on personal self-development? Because if you're not investing in yourself, then you're not going to be any good to anybody else. So, think about this as something, this is not short-term money. This is a long game. Again, I mean, my first year, I didn't impress anybody when I got over here. Lars Hedenborg came over, and his first year, he already had 1,000 people in his revenue share group. Okay. I only had 433, I think is what it was. Now, that sounds like a lot if you've got 10, right? But I'm going to tell you, again, think about the leverage here. Go find people. Real estate people are great, but go find people who can change your life. Go find people. You don't need 15 or 20 of them. You need one. Start with one. Go find somebody that's big enough to change your life. And then get your sponsor and your upline to help you close them. Don't try to do it yourself. Introduce them to people in your upline. Let them help you do it. I spend about half of my hours during the week on phone calls with people in my revenue share group who want me to help close a small team, large team, small brokerage, whatever it is. That's what we do. All right. So I'm going to get down off the box here and see. Thank you, Leah, for your question. I hope I didn't overdo it here, but again, just start with something. Start with 2 hours a week, because I was in your shoes. I had to produce. I had to sell real estate. I had 4 kids going to college, and it was a matter of survival for me, and I had to do what I had to do. I called it income replacement. So as my rev share started to pick up, I would sell less real estate just so I could replace income. All right. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, that was awesome. And that's what I note out real quick here, Cliff, as you're talking about this stuff. And I think a lot of people sometimes are looking for this exuberant, crazy, methodical thing that you've done, right? And I actually remember when you came in, because you guys were actually, me and Brent were driving to the Bay Area, and you guys were on this this call. And he's like, hey, you got to listen to this call. This guy, Cliff, he's amazing, man. And you were on a speakerphone in the car, and I was listening to you guys chatter. But I remember your conversation, and yeah, so I remember you becoming part of the XP. And here you are, and be completely transparent, you've surpassed me. And I think I've actually been here longer than you. So, I mean, we're talking days and weeks, but still, relatively speaking, it's not like a magic pill of some sort. It's just some extra added effort. Like to do that, like Brent was every Friday. Figure out what does work for you. If it's every Friday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, 2 hours a week, just making a phone call. I think the other factor that comes into play here is like, it's okay, I'll make a list of people, I'll reach out to them, but what do I say to them? And I think that's the other intimidating factor. It may be for you, Leah, too, whatever. Like, what do I say to these people? I'm reaching out, I don't know what to say. And what if they ask me questions I don't know? I mean, it's kind of like being a listener. In your very first listener, what do I do? Right? So that's why I would say encourage, like what Cliff said, Leah, like definitely just be a great inviter. Hey, I'd love for you to talk to my business partner, Chris, or whoever. I'm going to call for you any time of the day. And just be there in person. I'll come in and or Thursday's lunch learn. Invite us too as well, right? But yeah, just want to know that. Not to diminish or water down what you've done, Cliff, because you've done amazing feats and you obviously have numbers to prove it. But just I want people to get their thoughts that it's this crazy over the top thing you got to do. This magnificent thing. It's basic 101 relationship building.
Yeah, the only technology I used, guys, was this thing right here. That was it. I mean, I didn't have some fancy CRM, or I wasn't a YouTube, star, or, TikTok this, or, whatever that. Again, it was about relationships. And, I came from contribution, and I always wanted to help somebody. It's always about, if I were to ask you the 3 things you could change about your business, what would you tell me? I want to know what their pain points are. And then I want to help them. I was a coach, so I'm, that's kind of what I've done, but you can do the same thing. Everybody's trying to solve the same problems in our business. How many of you been to a realtor's retirement party?
I've been to funerals.
Don't have a wreck, Blake. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they don't exist, right? Up until now. So if you start talking to people about, hey, what's the last season of your real estate career look like? How are you going to harvest your business? What's the end game for you? How are you building? How are you going to leave your legacy? And, these are hard questions for people to answer. And then they're going to ask you, what about you? Well, I'll tell them my story. You asked if I have permission to tell you my story. Isn't it better to have permission to tell the story than it is to just go EXP on somebody, right? How many of you all have ever EXP'd on someone? Anybody? How great it is. It's the stock. It's the revenue share. You don't know what they want to hear. You don't know that they care about revenue share. 12 people out of 100 here are here for the revenue share. That's it. Okay. Be one of those 12, by the way. Be one of those 12. But if you pick the wrong thing to talk about, they're going to shut you down. They're going to shut you out. They don't want to hear it. Remember, a man's mind changed against his will is of the same opinion still. Don't ever get confrontational with folks. If they tell you their brokerage is better, that's great. Why do you think it is? I'd like to know. I'm open. If I can find a place better than EXP, don't you think I would move there? I want to know. Maybe there is something better. I'll listen to you, because that gives me then permission to tell you my story, right? And if you're brand new here and you don't have a story yet, I still tell Brent Gove's story and how Sheila Fejeron, her life was changed, and how many lives have been changed. How many people have paid their houses off with stock that they've either gotten free or purchased through the Agent Equity program? I want to tell their stories. Those are real. Nobody wants to hear about the mechanics of how it works. They want to hear about how is that person's life changed. Those are the things that get people's emotions going. And you can never say the wrong thing to the right people. I love when Brent said that. You can never say the wrong thing to the right people. Don't worry if you get bubbles in your mouth. Okay? It's okay. Remember, you can always get a third party involved. That's the goal. Get somebody on the phone who can help you talk to these folks and explain the model. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have questions? Chris?
Yeah.
What do we? Yeah.
You guys got anything else here? We got about 5 minutes left on the clock. I will throw out this, though, every Thursday, you guys know that, right? Every Thursday, 9, 11, and 2, I do the EXP Explained every Thursday, 9, 11, and 2. So go on to the Google Classroom, hit Classwork tab. You'll find the link for the Google meeting for the EXP. Just come check it out. Come hear the model. Come learn it. I learned more of it when me and Brent used to travel, and I had to sit there and listen to Brent's story 1,000 times and had to pretend like I was interested in what he was saying, because I wasn't, because I heard it so much. But you had to. It becomes like sinks into your head and your mind. And it just overwhelms like a song. You start singing in the bathroom while you're in the shower. You remember it so much. That's this being repetition is success, as Robin says. So show up to the EXP Explains every Thursday. And then if you do have somebody that is like on the hook and is extremely interested in the EXP, hey, get them on a call with me. Text me, Chris. I'll show you my calendar link. Schedule an appointment on it. It's designed that way. But yeah, Cliff, you are amazing. I appreciate you. I love your demeanor. I love your approach. It's a very humbling approach. You're a very humbling person. But yet your success, it does exceed success. I'm extremely impressed by you and just your personality. So I appreciate you taking the time out today for coming on board, spending 30, 45 minutes with my team, kind of sharing your story, your journey. And now we all at the events. Also, FYI, July 10th through 12th, go to Build 23. You're going to do this, go to Build 23. These events, you'll see Cliff there. You can shake Cliff's hand. You can be face-to-face with Cliff, that kind of stuff. That's what it is. Leah, real quick, got another question real quick? No? Are you actually raise your hand? Okay.
And by the way, San Antonio, if you've not been to the JW Marriott there, oh my gosh, it is one of the finest resorts in the U.S. And they play the Valero Texas Open. If there are any golfers out there, bring your clubs. You know, I mean, just this is an opportunity of a lifetime. They have a lazy river. I mean, it is just out beautiful in the hill country. And then, of course, Tony Robbins is going to be there. And I promise you guys, if you have any prospects, get them to go. Big decisions happen at big events like this. And that's why we do these. That's why Brent puts these on. Yeah. You know, Keller Williams was famous with Mega Agent Camp and Family Reunion for recruiting. And guys, that's what this is all about. I want everybody, please try to set a goal of bringing 2 or 3 prospects to build. I mean, that would get you well on the way to starting to build that organization. And man, once you get the taste of this, it's crazy. You know, things start to happen. You start to figure all this stuff out and things happen. So, but you got to create massive action. You got to create momentum. You got to get off dead center and start doing something. You're never going to get where you want to be if you don't take the action to get there. So I just want to, like I said, encourage you guys to really make a commitment to yourself and to your family to make RevShare part of your experience here at EXP.
I love it. Couldn't say it any better. Awesome, Cliff. Thank you so much again for your time. Appreciate you. Love you guys as always. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Another amazing guest. We'll always continue to bring the value for you guys. And don't forget tomorrow or Thursday, EXP Explained again, 9, 11, and 2. If not, you guys have an amazing week. Go crush it. And I love you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Mahalo.
Hello. Aloha. Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you, Chris. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you from Ala Moana.